Welcome to another edition of Family Chats live from Lakeland, Florida. Here where sports brings the family together. My name is Freddie Rivera. I'm the dad and the uncle here. Got my son Giovanni Rivera here to my left. Say what's up, Joe.
Yo, what's up YouTube? What's up SoundCloud? What's up Facebook? Back again for another week of late night chats. We're gonna remix it this week because around like 8:30.
8:30, a little bit later than normal. That's right, that's right. Now I got my nephew Angel Garcet over there. Say what's up, Angel.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back another week. It's late, but we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it.
Yeah, one final welcome. I got a live studio guest, Chris Garcet over there. Just say what's up, Chris.
What's up?
So
To the finals. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the MLB because so much more has changed since we talked about it last week. I mean, the Mets have lost 8 out of their last 10 games. They have fallen to the 3rd place in the East, behind the Braves and the
man, they're like on a free fall. The Mets.
the Phillies, who I said would be better than the Mets, and people
And we laughed.
thought I was crazy, but here we go. And the Yankees have won 14 out of the last 15.
Sorry, Joe. 15 out of 16.
15 out of the last 16 to go on. Okay, they won today.
Yes.
They've won 15 out of the last 16 on this road trip from hell.
Here's a trivia. When was the last time the Yankees won 15 out of 16?
2009.
Nope.
I'll say
1996.
2000.
Nope.
I would
1997.
say
No. The answer is
2010.
1981.
Damn.
trash.
That's a long time ago.
Yes.
That's like
That's
before
a
all
lot
the
of games.
championships.
Don Mattingly,
It's a lot
Dave
of
Winfield,
games.
Ricky Henderson,
15 out of 16.
Yankees. Yeah.
And the Angels are now tied with Houston, and they are both 5-5 out of the last 10 games. Not talking about what they've done today, because the Angels, I believe,
And
won.
amazingly, the Yankees went to Anaheim, and they won. They swept them 3 in a row.
Swept them.
Went to Houston, won 3 out of 4. And these are 2 places. The Yankees usually have trouble in Anaheim. They've obviously showed last year they couldn't win in Houston in the playoffs. If they would have won 1 game, we would have been talking about them winning the World Series. And it, from a mental perspective, I thought that road trip was huge for them. But they had it circled on the calendar this stretch. They had Toronto 4 games before they went out west. Then they went to Anaheim 3, Houston 4, home to a tough Cleveland for 3, and then going to have welcome in the Red Sox for 3. And the Yankees are they're playing their best baseball right now against the best teams in the AL. Right? They're not playing the weak teams. They're playing the teams we all said are the top contenders and the teams that are going to make the playoffs, along with who we believe is the best team in the American League, the Astros. So listen, I'm amazed that they're playing this well, and I'm more amazed at the pitching. I'm not amazed at the hitting. I'm more amazed at the pitching. The pitching has stepped up during this stretch, and it's been phenomenal to watch. I mean, I'm telling you, and even like today, down 4-0. Right, Domingo Germán, the kid is thrown out there. First game, no hitter through 6 innings.
Take him out.
They took him out because he was at 90 pitches. Betances pitched well in the 7th, kept the no hitter going. The 8th inning, he walked the guy, and things started to fall apart.
This is so trash.
And so Cleveland scratches, right? Cleveland scratches 4 runs, and I thought, okay,
and when it's over.
yeah, you know what? We just chalked this up. We lost 1, and Yankees scratch out 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and Torres, the kid, hits a big 3-run homer after the Yankees tied it, of course, with back-to-back doubles to lead the 9th. It was one of these victories I was amazed that they got, but it was so much fun to watch. For those who turned off the TV, I'm sorry you did, but you missed a good one.
I mean, you just look at what is fueling this run, too. Because it's not Giancarlo Stanton.
Nope.
And it wasn't Aaron Judge. It was guys like Miguel Andujar, Severino,
Yep.
the bullpen, not Betances.
Yep.
It's trash.
No, Betances actually pitched
I know,
well
he's
in
been
the
pitching
last
good,
few games.
but-
Just today, he just lost in the 2nd inning. The 1st inning, he was lights out. And it's fun. Let me tell you, talking Betances, it's fun to watch him, get his confidence back, because he actually has been pitching really well again. And if he pitches like the Betances we know, and you have him and Chapman pitching like the 2 guys we know,
Because Chapman
then they
lights
become
out.
then they become again just super dominant once you get in the into the bullpen. So fun to watch, and you're right. It's coming from all over. You know, today,
Torres,
right? Torres, walk-off 3-run homer, walk-off, right?
Yeah.
Single by Andujar a few days ago.
Torres had the game-winning hit against the Astros.
Hit against the Astros. In the 9th inning today, Hicks leads off with a double, and then
how about in the 8th? Judge is a big 2-run double. It's
huge
like
2-run double. Gardner gets a huge single, and he's been struggling during the streak. Gardner's actually been struggling. So that's why it's
to win
true.
15 out of 16 and still not have all your guys playing as
They're
well.
not
like
they can get better. Which is amazing.
Is what I'm trying to say.
So this is what I was telling you before. The Yankees are usually not a team that calls up their prospects and uses them as, you know, those top next young players that could take over the league. Now we're starting to see the Yankees calling up some big players. They got Andujar up. They called up Torres. They have the young kid Torres also. Clint Frazier they called up last year, who could be a youngster who's not even playing.
Playing well in
he
AAA.
just got off the DL.
And he's playing well in AAA from what I'm hearing.
And Gardner's about ready to kick him out of the outfield spot.
I believe they're going to use the kid to try to get some pitching prospect. But if you got a guy like today, Domingo Germán, coming in and pitching the way he had a great spring. The Yankees, he lit up he came out of nowhere for the Yankees. They didn't see him being a top-tier pitcher. He pitched great in the spring. They called him up to play a long man role in the bullpen, and he did that very well. So he got the shot after Montgomery got hurt, and today pitched phenomenal. If he can do anything what he did today, because he almost looks Severino-like. Yeah, that's what he reminded me of. He reminded me of a young Severino, and I'm like, oh my goodness. If you can get a kid like this to pitch like this, and you don't have to go trade for another top starter, the Yankees are doing everything right. Because the one thing I'm thinking, watching Cole on the Astros, is why could we not just seal the deal? Because Cole on the Yankees right now, pitching the way he is, the Yankees would be, they would be right now, people would be talking about them being the best, not the Astros.
They would.
If Cole was on the Yankees pitching the way he is right now. 16 Ks the other day, complete game. Cole has been phenomenal. So, yeah, it's fun to watch. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm so excited because the Yankees are in position to have everything they want. If they want to go out and get pitching, they got enough talent to trade for it right now. They got kids like Sheffield, arms that Sheffield they just called from AA to AAA. He's almost ready to come and pitch in the big league to help if they need him, and he's a lefty kid. So they have prospects to trade.
I mean, you still look at our pitching staff here, like Montgomery's been pitching decent. Gray needs to step it up, but he pitched his last game pitched really good.
His last 3 games have been pretty good.
Sabathia pitching great.
Sabathia's been phenomenal.
Severino's pitching great.
Severino's been the ace.
So you look at it and you're like,
yeah. Tanaka's last game.
Just like I said, beginning of the year, I'm like, people say our pitching staff isn't strong enough. I'm sitting here thinking like, our pitching staff has the potential to be one of the top.
They did in the playoffs last year. The reason why they played so well was because they're pitching. So we know they have the potential. It's just a matter of them doing it. So, but Gray came out a little slow this year. Last 3 games have been much better. Sabathia was a little injured, but Sabathia's doing what we thought Harvey needed to do, right, with the Mets, that he hasn't done yet. You don't have that, 98-mile-an-hour fastball anymore. You have to figure out a way to pitch now. You can still be a great pitcher. You have good stuff, but he has to get off his mindset that he can blow people away. Can't blow people away anymore. That's what Sabathia has dominated with learning the cutter, and the cutter is what's making him such a much better pitcher right now. The cutter and the changeup. So I believe Harvey will get to a team that will, will groom him. Obviously they'll take chances on him. So yeah. I think even the Yankees might.
Never know. Never know.
Yankees might what?
Maybe that'll be a mistake.
They would give Harvey a chance. Not in the big leagues, but they'll give him a chance to.
Harvey is so ignorant right now. Harvey's so ignorant right now. He will never take a minor league deal. This guy would rather probably retire than take a minor league deal.
Would you take a minor league deal?
Of course. But I'm not dumb like Harvey. Harvey swears he's the best pitcher in the league. I saw some numbers.
Way too much pride,
I saw some numbers on him. And are we done? Are we done with the Yankees?
Yeah, you can go on. I'll say this about the Yankees. They're gonna make the playoffs.
we discussed that in the beginning. Probably even
Are
maybe
they better than the Red Sox?
winning the East.
In one game.
They're close. I'm
From
not gonna say they're better
being
than the Red
10
Sox.
games behind to being one game. I mean,
Obviously they're hot right now, but Boston has been hot, and it's not like they're getting cold.
No,
It's not like they're
Boston
getting
still got
cold.
the best record in baseball.
So that division right there with the Yankees and Red Sox, obviously it's going to be just like 2003, 2004. That's
you
what
got Toronto,
it's
who
going to
would be
remind
the
me of
division
with these
leaders
Yankees
and
and Red Sox.
Yeah.
like 3 divisions.
So
Yeah.
obviously we picked Boston and the Yankees to be in the playoffs, and I'm still going to predict them to be in the playoffs. I don't know who's going to win the East because it could go either way right now.
So many more games. You got
But
130 games left.
You just never know. They're both pretty equal right now, but I think, obviously the key for the Yankees is Stanton. He's got to get hot. So
I don't even think he's the key.
I
think he's the key
You look at the run.
because if you're paying this guy $30 million a year, you got to have some production.
Obviously, it's
I
going to
just
be
need him to be
important for
coaching.
him. Obviously, it's going to be important for him to get heated up, but I don't think he's the key of the team.
No, the
I mean,
pitching
you
is-
look at what we've done these last 16 games, you're like, okay, well, Stanton hasn't done much.
But a lot of these games that they're winning are close games. They hit the 3-run homer against the Astros that one series.
Yeah,
It was
it was
0-0.
0-0 going
They
to the
walked
eighth.
off today. It's not like they're blowing teams out with their offense.
No, but
they
this
need to
is.
start hitting.
I feel like this is even more important that
Oh,
you're
hitting
having
in the
these
clutch
close
is
games,
Of course,
and you're seeing what they're doing in the clutch. Now,
of course, but imagine if they had the MVP. This guy's the MVP. He was the MVP of the National League. This guy's the best power hitter, most likely in the MLB besides Judge. But obviously they're two big guys.
You know, if we ended the season right now, the Yankees and the Astros would be playing a 1-game playoff.
Yeah, that's
Wild
crazy.
card.
And I'd probably pick Houston because Verlander. They're gonna have to face Verlander, Cole, or Morton, who are the top 3 pitchers in
And
the league right
they're
now.
not putting in the bullpen.
And
They would
no,
use those 2
no,
guys.
They would throw them the whole game. Those 2 guys just alone.
But the Astros would have to see Severino in the bullpen.
Hey, but I
So-
like the Astros hitting, man. They got some guys who can hit.
Yeah, the
Obviously,
Yankees,
Altuve.
let me tell you, that's where the Yankees pitching was so impressive. They shut out the Astros like 24 straight innings from scoring, which is amazing with that Astros lineup.
Yeah.
it's crazy to see how bad the Central has been this year. And you look at all these other divisions, you're like, wow, if this team was here, 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 you know, the
The
Central
has
is,
3 terrible teams, literally.
and the
terrible.
Indians are 17-17. They're in first place by 2 games.
Yeah,
And the Twins, who we thought were all going to
we
be
thought the Twins would do
decent,
better.
they're trash.
Yeah, they got
Just like I thought they would be.
They're not hitting either. Obviously, Dozier.
I didn't
hasn't
think the
been
Twins
hot.
would make the playoffs again.
Sano is on the DL. Morneau's been their best hitter. Not Morneau. Joe Mauer.
Now,
I told you that the Angels would make the playoffs over the Twins. And y'all told me that no, the Twins are going to make the playoffs. Twins were
that was a
no.
good call. Just like I said, St. Louis would win the Central.
So,
They've lost
Central's-
Yadier Molina. Sorry to see that. No, but the Cardinals and even the Brewers are playing like we thought they would. The Cubs are still not playing the way they should, but they got 4 teams 1.5 games back from each other, so they're going to be battling. Or even the Pirates are right there.
the key for the Cubs, their pitching has to be more consistent. Darvish
And I mean,
still
you got
has
guys that are their hitting has been terrible in
Yeah.
Chicago.
It's-
But Rizzo was on the DL for a little bit. Bryant was out for a little bit with that hit by a pitch
I mean,
in his head.
he
Their
saw
best hitter has been
earlier.
Javier Baez.
nobody on the team is hitting
And
over
it's
300.
crazy.
Yeah, nobody's hitting.
Contreras is
300
hitting under 250. You got
Contreras
Hayward
is
hitting under
terrible.
240. You got
Rizzo's batting
Ryan.
under 200. You know that Rizzo's batting under 200.
Yeah.
It's
No,
crazy
they've
to
been
see.
Like really bad.
They've been bad. They've been
And
bad.
they're still over
They put
500.
Contreras to lead off tonight. That's how bad
Maybe
they're trying.
they're
anything.
trying to do what they like Harper. Harper went in that little slump for like a couple games, 5-6 games. He went on the slump. And he put him in the leadoff spot. He ended up hitting like 4 home runs.
It's amazing.
So you never know.
So let's go to the National League, right? What do you the East especially the Mets came out on 5. They're only a game and a half back,
I mean, but the Braves are young, man. They're doing it.
but the Braves just got swept by the Giants.
The Giants are no
the
joke,
Giants. What did we said that West team, right? The West.
though. I said the
division.
Giants could possibly make the playoffs.
Yeah, we
I didn't
said-
think they
it's
would, but
true.
I said they could have probably
We said the
made
West
playoffs.
was the best division in the National League, and they're
Yeah.
still proving it.
Yeah.
With Colorado coming in and sweeping the Mets and the Giants sweeping the Braves, they just proved to the East that they're much better.
Yeah. I guess we'll start off in the East because obviously the Braves are hot right now. They're obviously got the two young studs, Ozzy Albies and Acuna, who just got called up like a week ago and is absolutely dominating already. I told you last week the Braves are for real. They're for real, at least offensively.
I don't think they're for real.
At least offensively.
Offensive team.
I think they got the most runs scored in the MLB.
I just don't think this is going to be the year for them. I think they're
I don't
still
think
going to
it's
miss the playoffs.
I don't think it's the year for them. I think
I
obviously
think they're going to come in second place.
they're gonna obviously
and the record's
decline
not
because
gonna
I
be
don't think
good
their pitching is good enough to carry them all the way. Their offense is surely good enough.
They could be like the Yankees last year, where everybody thought the Yankees were a year away coming into the season, and the Yankees.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
you never
this.
know.
I think the Braves are going to come in second place in the East, but I don't think they're going to have a better record than the two teams in the West.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they're gonna make. I still think they're
Because
gonna
I think
miss
the
the
Phillies
playoffs.
are going to end up making the playoffs.
I don't think the Phillies will make the playoffs either.
Well, sure.
Like I said, the Nationals are still the best team in that league.
Right.
Yeah,
Once they
it'd
get
be
healthy.
crazy.
Once they
if
get
it-
healthy,
It'd
David
be
Murphy comes
crazy
back. That's
if the
gonna turn.
Nationals miss the playoffs.
Scherzer had like, what did he have? 16 Ks
He
today.
had 16.
7 innings.
He had 15, I think.
No, he had,
He-
he had more than 15.
15?
He had 16.
16? He had a lot. Who cares?
He had a whole lot.
The guy struck out almost the whole team twice.
Oh, my
So-
God.
He's crazy. This guy's striking out the bat boy and everything on deck. Like he's striking out guys before they even go up to the batter's box. That's how good he is. Like,
If the Nationals miss the playoffs, that coach that's to be his last year.
No.
It was his first year. It was going to be his last.
Yeah, well.
Listen, they
Yeah,
had-
well.
It would
They
be his,
will.
it'll be his
Oh, yeah,
last year.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
one
They
of the
got
best
rid of
teams in the
Dusty
league.
Baker, and Dusty
Yeah.
took him to the playoffs.
That's true.
It'll be his last year.
Joe,
They'll be like, it was
Joe
good- it was a
Girardi
good
almost
year.
took the Yankees to the World Series.
Yeah,
and
he got
they got rid of
fired.
him too. So you never know what's going to happen with these teams.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy.
the
I
Nationals,
think that Joe Girardi got fired after making the playoffs and being one game away from the World Series.
it's just like
And I think that it ended up being a good
Still-
decision for the Yankees because I do like Aaron Boone and I do like what they're doing this year.
But what was it? What was the difference? Like
No
there was no difference.
No difference.
Girardi would
I
have
think
been
Girardi
the
would've
same
did the
way
same
this
thing.
year.
Yeah, I think
He
he
probably would
would've
have
did
even better because he has those years of
And that's
experience.
just something that, guess what? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Because
Of
Girardi did it
course,
in
The
09.
Yankees are just ignorant because they didn't
It's
get
a
to the World
time.
Series.
It's a time
They
clock.
played the best team last
Girardi
year.
almost lost the season for us last year.
What do you? The
He
Yankees
didn't challenge
almost-
the easiest call to challenge in the playoffs. He didn't challenge and they almost lost because of it.
It's true. And the team rallied around him and came back there. Cleveland series.
Bro,
I
they're
didn't think they
so
would come
lucky
back.
that we beat the Indians. Because
Yeah.
if we did it, he would have been fired the next day.
He might have not made it on the plane
No,
back from
bro.
Cleveland. It would have been a Willie Randolph.
If
fired
they
in
didn't
Cleveland.
win, if they didn't beat the Indians, bro, it would have been over for Joe Girardi. He probably would have killed him in New York.
I mean, the Indians were the hottest team last year, other than the Astros. They won. They had like a 23-game winning streak, which is the longest in MLB history. So
Crazy.
I didn't expect the Yankees to win that series last year.
Nobody
and they ended up winning it, which I was kind of impressed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. We didn't think so either. And I think that's what right now the Yankees are playing just unbelievable confidence. No matter what happens, they're playing calm. End of games, they're down, and they're putting rallies together. This is a team right now that is just winning all types of games. Right, pitching duels, big a lot of scoring, down at the end of games. They're just winning, and it's fun to watch. So we'll see once that gets hot.
So let's
What
play
happens.
let's play our favorite segment.
Let's do
We played this once before. It's worried or not. Are we worried or not about these teams? We got a couple teams
Or not.
who we thought were going to make the playoffs coming out of the gate, and they have struggled really bad. So I got 3 teams here. Let's just start off with the one that's probably the most worried because Kershaw is now hitting the DL. Is the Dodgers 15 and 18, and they're in 4th place in the West, and they're falling behind fast. Are we worried about the Dodgers, or are we not worried about the Dodgers?
Worried, and
Worried
there's 2
is great.
reasons why. It's not only that they got a lot of injured talent now that Kershaw got put on the DL, but the 2 teams above them, the Colorado Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks, are not feeling sorry for them and waiting for them to get healthy.
Nope.
So those are the 2 reasons why you need to be worried about it.
I mean, they're now 8
I've
games back.
I've been worried. Been worried. After the first week, I was worried.
Yeah,
After Justin
With the bullpen.
Turner got hit in the hand, I was worried.
bullpen blew a few games.
Corey Seager out for the year, worried. This team is falling apart.
Big time.
They got their 2 best players on the DL. One's out for the season. They got the best left-handed pitcher in the league out. Dodgers are done. I'm sorry, LA. You are not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not making the playoffs. That division is too good.
It's too good.
And we picked the Dodgers to win the West.
We did.
They will be in 4th place this year.
They got Seager now that's out for the season with Tommy John. You got Kershaw with left bicep tightness. I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good. 10 games could stretch to 15 to 30 to 60. You just don't know with arm injuries nowadays.
Not good.
Especially with Seager, because no one was expecting him to just come out and say that he's going to get Tommy John surgery. I mean,
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
that was out of nowhere.
That was crazy.
You're
So-
right, Gabby saying that's the D-back division to lose.
It is.
The way they're
I
playing
mean,
right now.
You just look at the lineup and you're worried
Lineup,
about
Greinke
the
and
Dodgers.
Corbin. Then you got Greinke and Corbin for Arizona pitching great. Corbin's been a Cy Young candidate so far the way he's been pitching.
Yeah, they're winning the division.
And
They're the team.
you know, you got Pollock playing the way he's playing with Goldschmidt. Everybody's playing well in Arizona, man. That team is for real.
All right, let's go to the second team. Are we worried or are we not worried? This is the second team, and we're going to talk about Minnesota out there in the Central. Obviously, the division's been pretty bad. They're only 5 games out, but no, 2 games out, but it looks more like 5, but they played less games. They're 12-17, and they're in second place.
I'm going to say not worried right now. I think, obviously, you know, they've been playing in that cold Minnesota weather. That whole division, honestly, that whole division is in literally freezing temperature. Cleveland, Detroit, they're all in the terrible places to play right now.
Yeah.
Dozier hasn't even been hot. I think the Twins have a good enough team. We saw it last year. They don't even have their... I mean, they have Barrios, who's been pitching pretty good, obviously, the last couple games.
Decent. He's got an ERA of...
The first couple games, he was pitching lights out for them.
He's so iffy.
But let's just... I'm not going to say... I'm not worried as I am.
You're not
like,
worried?
Like, as the Dodgers. 2 games out. 2 games out.
Yeah,
really.
I'd say the same thing because Cleveland hasn't taken off yet. But if Cleveland starts to play like the team that Cleveland was playing like last year, then you'd have a lot to worry. But Cleveland still hasn't taken off and putting it all together. So they got Miller out.
Yep.
You know, so Cleveland again.
Lindor,
you know, Lindor he just started to pick up
to
hitting, starting to hit now, and that's what the biggest issue was. I think it is the cold. A lot of it has to do with the cold weather up there. I think with standing in the Yanks, with the Cleveland not hitting it, with that team, Minnesota getting off to a slow start. I believe that's what it is. But we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, I'm not worried because of that. That's why I was more worried with the Dodgers because the team in those divisions are on fire.
All right. So now let's go into the NL East, and are we worried or not about the 4th place Washington Nationals at 18-17, only 2 games behind first place,
Not worried.
but they are in 4th place.
Not worried
Not
whatsoever.
worried because of that.
They got the best team in that league. Wait, Daniel Murphy comes back. He's going to hit. He's going to make everybody in that lineup more comfortable. He's going to drive in runs. Rendon just got back from the DL. They still got Adam Eaton out on the DL.
Yeah.
Harper's their leadoff hitter right now. Like, this guy needs to... They need to provide so many runs that they're having this guy lead off so he could probably hit a leadoff home run or something. Like, their pitching is outstanding. Strasburg hasn't been, you know,
Yeah, he hasn't been
outstanding,
Strasburg.
but he hasn't been bad. He's been good. Scherzer's the best pitcher in the league, without a doubt. Without a doubt. This guy's going to win the 3rd straight Cy Young Award,
It's crazy.
which is crazy.
It is.
Their bullpen is obviously an issue, I feel. They don't have the greatest bullpen.
But how many Cy Youngs would Scherzer have if Kershaw could stay healthy?
Probably the same amount. Probably the same amount that he has right now.
Who?
Scherzer's that good.
Who you talking about?
Scherzer's ERA last year was like under 2,
Exactly.
but he was hurt.
But, are you talking
Kershaw.
I understand that. But the Dodgers were also a lot better last year than they are right now.
It's true.
So, Scherzer's the best pitcher in the league. This guy's 7-1. with a 1-something ERA.
Yeah, he's been nasty.
Right now, he's the best.
He's
Right.
been the best.
No, right
He's-
now,
he
Cole,
won-
Cole from the Astros has been pitching the
He's
best.
won 2 Cy Youngs in a row.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really.
He's good.
I'll take
He's
Scherzer.
good.
I've just never been a big believer in Scherzer. I don't
Who
know
will you
why.
take in a 1-game playoff out of all the pitchers out there?
Verlander.
I'm picking Verlander.
I'm picking Verlander.
Verlander probably the way he pitched last year in the playoffs is
Yeah.
was like his
Right.
Cy Young and his
That's
MVP
right.
in the same
It
season.
wouldn't be Kershaw.
It would definitely not be
Not be
Kershaw.
Kershaw, no.
Kershaw's ERA in the playoffs
I would
is
take-
a 4.
I would take Scherzer over Kershaw in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Scherzer's best. No, sorry, Kershaw. You declined, my man.
John says you can't play that what-if game.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
I do say that a lot.
Exactly.
So I can't say that. All right, but let's go to the last team, and it's another 4th place team in the Chicago Cubs, who are 2.5 games out of the St. Louis Cardinals. What are we worried, or are we not worried about the Cubs?
I'm not worried about them either.
Same reason, because they're not far behind. They're playing bad and they're 2 games behind. Just like the Nationals. They're playing bad and they're 2 games behind. When they put it together, they're just going to take off.
Yeah, they're the best team. They got, like I said, their pitching has been so inconsistent. Darvish has like a 5 ERA.
Lester has been.
Lester is so
Never
inconsistent
know.
every year. Quintana was awful in the beginning of the season. He had like an 8 ERA. The last 3 games he's pitched were very good. He hasn't given up an earned run, so his ERA went down to the 4s.
Yeah.
But obviously the pitching, their hitting hasn't been there. Javi Baez has been their best hitter. So once those guys get hot, get ready, they're also in Chicago, cold weather.
Yeah.
So wait till those
Gabi
guys get
agrees.
out.
Gabi says it's what happened last year, which is true. Cubs
They did
won
have a
the
slow
division,
start
had a
last
slow
year.
start, and they won. So we agree with that.
So yeah, not worried. Not worried.
Not worried. All right, well, that's all I have for worried or not worried.
Whoa.
Thanks for
we
playing.
got one more.
Who
Are
are
we
you?
worried about the Mets?
Oh, yeah,
Are you guys
true.
worried about the Mets?
After this 10-game slide.
Cespedes just left today, hurt. DeGrom, he's only missing 1 start. He could have started tomorrow. He could have started tomorrow.
They thought he
I
would
think they
start
wanted to play a little
tomorrow. Yeah,
safer,
they wanted
which
to
is
play him
smart.
safe.
Play it safe. Give him a week to just recover.
Yep.
And so they put him on a 10-day DL, but he'll probably start at the end of next week. And I've said in the beginning of the year, Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Cespedes has to stay healthy for the Mets to compete all year. So if one of those guys go out, it does become worrisome for me.
I mean, they've lost 6
They
games
lost
in a
6
row.
in a row with those guys pretty much, on the field. Today, Syndergaard goes out, pitches a great game, still loses 3-2. So, I'm a little concerned about the Mets. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just like the magic left. They had this, where guys were just picking each other up. Now it's almost like they tightened up, and now they don't know how to win. And you don't want to get into too long of a funk if you're the Mets. You're still in it, but what are they going to do? How do you feel, Angel, as a Mets fan?
Yeah, for me, I'm a little worried about them. Obviously, because we know that their pitching is the main core for that team to win games. And when you have pretty much your best pitcher in DeGrom going out of the deal, obviously the injury wasn't bad like they were talking about. So he's on the DL, but they're trying to play it safe. Cespedes out today. I don't know what's up with that guy. He's got to lay up the weights or something.
He needs to go back to playing golf, yeah.
I'm a little worried about them because of how good the Braves are playing and how good the Nationals team is. Like I said, the Nationals are
And
the
how
best team.
good? Who else?
The Phillies, I'm not worried about the Phillies. The Phillies,
Such a hater.
I don't
such a
believe
hater
in
of
the
the
Phillies.
Phillies.
I don't believe in the Phillies.
Don't.
don't.
And then when the end of the
I
year
don't.
comes and the Mets are in last place,
I'm not trusting the
East,
process for
then
them. I'm not trusting the
it'll be whatever.
process.
Trust in the process.
I'm not trusting the process for the Phillies. The Mets are better than them. Freaking
Whatever.
Phillies.
You can say that, but the Mets have lost 6 games in a row, so you can say whatever you want about them.
Whatever, man. I don't trust the
I don't
process
think the
in
Phillies have lost
Philadelphia,
6 games in a row this year.
but I trust the process in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the guys. But I am worried about the Mets.
I'm super worried about the Mets.
I'm
They
worried about
stink. Just like I've said all year, they stink. They're finally showing their true colors.
Adriana says you should always be worried about the Mets. They stink.
Watch it.
Watch
Watch it.
Watch it be in the doghouse.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a little worried about them. So yeah.
All right, I think that's it for MLB. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, Pujols, 3,000 hits.
3,000 hits.
Real quick,
Pretty
Pujols,
impressive.
3,000 hits. Fourth player in Major League history to have 600 home runs and 3,000 hits.
Crazy.
It's a great accomplishment.
So here's my question: where is Pujols on your rank of greatest baseball players of all time?
He's next to Barry
Next to
Bonds.
Bonds.
He's the greatest player we've seen over the last 20 years. Now you have obviously your Trouts and your Judge, but over the last,
I hate how people put
One-
like Babe Ruth in like the
I
same
can't
category.
stand when people put Babe Ruth
Like
as
they
the
were
best player of
playing
all time.
with broomsticks back in that day. I'm pretty sure they were flicking bottle caps and hitting with broomsticks back in those days.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I can't stand when people. Babe Ruth is the best player of all time. What? He played in the 20s, my man. Like that's like saying the NBA, like the
Like
best
show
player.
me some
is-
footage.
Yeah,
Show me some footage.
I do not. They said I hate this fact that I hear all the time about Babe Ruth. This guy hit a pop up so high it went into the clouds, and by the time it landed, he ran all the way around for an in the park home run, and it landed in the infield. And nobody caught it. Are you kidding me? D. Gordon couldn't run around the bases that fast.
I know, right?
Like, come on now. I do not believe anything about Babe Ruth.
I do not.
This guy is the 20th best player of
Come
all
on,
time.
man.
Get out of here.
I'm not gonna believe anybody's great granddaddy who had ALS.
Get out of here, man.
Oh my god, man.
Otani's better than Babe Ruth.
But it's true. It's Ken Figueroa says
We are
it's
Babe
true.
Ruth haters.
What-
Of anything.
What you don't realize is Babe Ruth also pitched.
Who
I don't
cares?
care.
Who
He
cares,
won
bro?
86 games as a pitcher.
Wow, he could flick
The
bottle
ace,
caps.
the ace was also the closer. Come on now. The ace, the
They
ace
pitched
is-
160 pitches a game. You think I care about anything they're talking about back
Then
then?
Johnny was saying you gotta know
Bro.
your history and at least respect it.
They were throwing
Okay,
probably
I understand.
75 miles an hour.
I understand he pitched and he hit,
He was probably a better
But-
pitcher than hitter.
It's like
from what
this.
they say.
but come on now, like
He
some
was
of the
he
stats
was
are
your,
ridiculous.
I feel like
he
you
was
didn't even know the
he was the
mechanics.
Otani, the original Otani.
Otani's better than Babe Ruth.
Otani would smash Babe Ruth right now.
Otani would take Babe Ruth deep, and Otani would
Those
strike out
dudes,
Babe Ruth.
okay, I respect them because they were playing baseball
Babe
in the
Ruth
summer,
was
like
like-
they were fighting
Babe
wars
Ruth was like
in the wintertime. That shit don't make no sense. They had to go
Wait.
fight wars.
Babe Ruth was like Aaron Judge right now.
Oh my
In
god.
terms of just he was
It
just
makes no
he was much
sense.
bigger than everybody.
That
else.
era makes no sense.
Because you didn't understand it.
Don't you remember, like, the
And
men had to stop
that's like-
playing at one point because, and then the females played baseball.
It was a
That's
different.
like
It was a
watching-
different game too because a lot of the pitchers they didn't have to relief pitchers coming in. There was no save.
I
Exactly.
said they
that's what
threw
we said.
160
the
pitches a
aces,
game.
The aces were also the closers, man. They pitched every game. Like
I will
every
say they
day.
were a little tougher because
They
I bet
did.
no one had Tommy John surgery back then.
No Tommy
Because
John,
that didn't until like 2000, right?
right? Wilson and
I'm sure
and
their
Rawlings weren't they had no
They had cardboard gloves.
They had nothing.
And we're going to talk about missing a pop-up. Of course they missed a pop-up.
That's like saying guys in the NBA in the 50s and the 40s were better than Michael Jordan and Kobe and LeBron.
doesn't make any
That's
sense.
because you don't have enough foot. You just have to respect that at that time, that's who were the greatest players, and their stats prove it. So,
But
you know,
the
Like
greatest of all
Cy
time.
Young-
The
Cy
greatest
Young
of all
were like-
time. Who's the? You think Babe Ruth's the greatest of all time?
no, I don't.
How many wins did Cy Young have? Did he have like
He had over 500. He had over 500.
That doesn't
wins
make
and
sense.
500 He pitched every game.
He
though.
had to be the one guy who threw 80 miles an hour.
Cy Young,
Everybody's like, he's blowing him right by him.
just like you said, what did they do?
Oh my god, nowadays they got steroids. Dudes are throwing, Otani's throwing 100 plus and
Cy
hitting
Young,
500
Cy Young
runs.
would laugh at pitchers nowadays because they get hurt, they're sore.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
mean you're on the 10-day DL? I pitched with that ligament hanging off for
But
years.
that's why he also had 500 career losses because his arm was hanging
500
off.
and 500, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
How can you pitch 1,000 games?
It is insane.
But yeah, but
any
back
sense.
but back to
Was he the
Pujols.
designated pitcher for both teams?
Pitcher for both teams. So we got to win
He
in
just
the
stayed
loss.
on the ball. He just stayed on the mound.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right, back
We're just having fun.
Back to Pujols real quick. Yeah, if it wasn't because of Barry Bonds, who I consider the greatest baseball player of all time.
I do too. I think Barry Bonds is the greatest.
I think Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player. He hit, he played defense. He also had 500 stolen bases in his career, so he was fast. He walked like crazy. This guy was the most feared hitter of all time. But if it wasn't because of Barry Bonds, Pujols would have had 7 MVPs.
It's
Because
crazy.
he's finished. He's had 3 MVPs in his career.
Yeah.
He finished second 4
4
times
behind Barry Bonds.
So
Absolutely insane. And just think that he didn't have that legacy of steroids like Barry Bonds did.
Exactly.
So would that make you put him over Bonds because
I think-
because Bonds had that reputation of steroids? Would that make you put Pujols a step ahead because he didn't have that reputation?
I
Yes.
think a lot
Because
of
they
people
were
would
so
give him-
close?
I think a lot of people would give him that
I
edge.
think I would.
But I think I'm just talking about overall. I think Pujols is obviously for me the most feared right-handed hitter I've probably seen from since his
I love
rookie
watching
year.
him play.
Since his rookie year coming up.
Yeah, right
And
from
he's
the
won-
Right
beginning.
from the
and he's
beginning,
won
he's
World
had
Series.
30 home runs.
You had
100 yards.
A-Rod right there.
A-Rod, another
Top
one
three.
too, but I put A-Rod in my top 10 baseball players of all time too, even though he took steroids, but
Fortunately.
the talent was there
Yeah, it
to
was
say he
amazing.
was a top 10 greatest baseball
And
player of all
Pujols
time.
has World Series.
And he's
rings.
also won 2 World Championships, which Barry Bonds doesn't have.
Did not win any World Series
He had one amazing playoff series. The rest he stunk.
and he lost against the Angels.
Yeah.
David Eckstein.
So David
Who was
Eckstein
as
was
tall as
the World
Chris.
Series MVP in 2006.
And David Eckstein was as tall as Chris. So
All right, so quick question: Who's the next person to 3,000?
Miguel Cabrera, I believe.
I have to look at who's the
I want to say
closest.
Miguel Cabrera.
It probably is Miguel Cabrera.
He probably has like 26.
If we're talking, let's do
2,500, 2,600.
But let's do this. Who do we think that is their first 3 years? Actually, who do we think will be the next person to hit 3,000 and hit over 600 home runs?
Trout.
Is it Trout or is it Harper? Who's the first one to get there?
No, it's Trout. I don't think Harper.
Harper's
gets-
younger.
Harper is younger, but Harper doesn't get as many hits. He hits the bombs,
He
but
walks too many.
he
times.
walks too much. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think Trout is that next guy. I think Trout's going to hit 700 and 3,000.
I think
He will be the second player to do that, which is Hank Aaron's the only player to do that.
If he stays healthy and keeps playing.
Bonds
Nowadays-
didn't hit
nowadays-
3,000 hits.
No, he walked so many times
That's
that he had less than 3,000 hits, and I think he needed like maybe 60 something more hits for 3,000.
That sucks.
But he walked
And he could have played another
almost
year.
2,500 times in his career.
You know, he could have played another year and they just refused to.
Yeah, they didn't
want
let
to
him-
sign him.
Yeah.
They almost
That
like,
sucks.
shunned him from the league.
Yeah,
Sucks. He was never in MLB The Show.
yeah,
Do you remember that?
yeah. It was
You
always
remember
Reggie Stocker.
Reggie Stocker.
Reggie Stocker was Barry Bonds.
I was always like, why is Barry Bonds? Why does he have the same batting stance?
Yeah, if you
Just
never
put
knew
Barry
that,
Bonds in the game.
if you're an MLB or video game player,
Video game player.
Reggie
I read up
Stocker
on
was
it.
Barry Bonds.
I read up on it. It was because there was a problem with like the MLB Players Association and Barry Bonds. Like they had.
Yeah, he wanted money.
He wanted money.
He wanted to get paid to be on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they didn't let him. He wasn't in that.
Yeah, Pujols, congratulations. You're top 10 greatest player of all time, in my opinion.
Top 5, I think.
Most feared right-handed hitter, I feel, other than
It's true,
A-Rod.
John.
Over
Remember
A-Rod,
when we used to
I
talk
would
about batting
I probably
average?
would.
Pujols did win batting titles, too.
No, Pujols was
So-
winning multiple batting titles.
This
Like,
guy was a beast.
He was okay. He from like what 2003 to 2009, 2010. He was hitting 330 with like 30 home runs every year.
100, yeah.
Every Pujols.
I think
It
he's
was
the only
every
player.
single year.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
he didn't strike out.
he had to be the
Tell
most
him.
consistent player. One of the most consistent players
I love the way he hit.
of
because he-
over a 10-year
He
period.
hated he still hates to strike out nowadays. He
Because
just,
we look at it even still, like today, he's still putting up good numbers.
Yeah.
So like,
He might get to that 700 home runs. I think he's at 620 something,
I could definitely see him.
620s, almost 630s. He could get to that 700 home
he's
runs.
about 3 more good years.
I would say 3 or 4
First
more
ballot
good
Hall of
years.
Famer, and people still aren't going to vote him in 100%.
Yeah, I know. Nobody ever will.
Gabby
That's
says
true.
Cano has 2,400 hits and probably be
Cano-
one of the next ones. That
Cano will be in the Hall of Fame. Cano's going to be in the
He
Hall
has
of
to
Fame.
get to 3,000.
But
He
he'll
will be.
make it.
Cano has to get to 3,000 hits though to get into the Hall of Fame.
No.
Nah, I think
No,
if
he
he
won't.
gets
He
to,
gets
I think if he
closer.
gets that
Really?
28,
You guys really think?
29, there's guys who've been in the Hall of Fame who don't have 3,000 hits. They got Ozzie Smith has 2,100
You don't
hits in
think
his
you
career.
don't think Cano is better than Biggio?
I just think Biggio got to that milestone.
Because he played 25 years.
He did play a lot of years.
It's just
But
like
Cano's still. He's
what
got,
has
Cano's-
Cano done?
But here's why: because second base position, you haven't seen too many players at second base put offensive numbers up like they do now.
yeah.
Cano's one of the first ones. Now you got Altuve. You got guys.
Cano
you go
ruined
look.
himself.
No. Here's what happens: if you go look in the Hall of Fame, you will not see stats like Cano and Altuve. Some
But
of
that's the
second basemen
thing.
had. So it's going to be
Nowadays,
automatic.
I feel
Roberto
like
Alomar.
I feel like the Hall of Fame has these certain credentials. Like they didn't have that back in the day. I feel like with Ozzie Smith, like what credentials did he hit? He was
Well,
just like a great defender.
he was just the best. Right.
It was just like the greatest shortstop at that time.
Yeah, it was weird because they didn't have a lot of hitting shortstops.
Exactly.
Shortstops,
Hitting wasn't the key
yeah,
back
wasn't the
in the
biggest
day.
thing
It was
for
like
shortstop.
defense.
It was defense.
That's
So it
what
was a
I'm
different
saying.
game.
Nowadays, I feel like there's so many things that they have to do.
Yeah.
But
No, I think
it's all-
Cano's in.
I don't think
It's
Cano's
all
gonna
in
get
the
3,000. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Even if he doesn't, he'll be in.
He's gonna be one of those guys. I feel like that struggles.
No, because people will compare him to people who are already in. They're going to be just saying exactly what I said. Is he not better than Biggio?
He's not gonna be a first
Is he not
ballot.
better than Ryan Sandberg? Is he not better than some of these biggest
He
second
ruined
basemen that are in the
himself.
Hall of Fame?
He could have easily been way better of a player
Oh,
than
yeah, if
he
he
is
would
now
have
if he
stayed with the
stayed
Yankees. Oh, big time.
Way
He would have a
more-
lot more home
Maybe
runs.
almost 500 home runs.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
For sure.
he's 35 years old though.
I know.
He has 2,400 hits.
He's still hitting.
How long is he gonna be able to?
He's got another 2-3 more
You
years.
know how long?
If he plays 3 years, he'll hit 3,000. 3 full seasons.
Yeah.
Because
He's
he'll
gonna hit
he's-
200 hits a year.
He'll hit like 175 a year.
Yeah, easy 150.
You just
plus.
don't. You just can't predict that. Like what I'm saying, you can't play
But
that one
you-
if.
No, he's not playing the
'Cause you
what if.
never
But
know.
If you
if
go
you go
off
to his,
his-
If he does stay
Huh?
healthy,
If you go off
I'm
his
saying
average,
he's gonna hit 150 a year. So
if he goes hit 150 a year, that's what? 450.
well, let's just
3
say
years.
this: he's gonna
He'll be
stay
right
healthy.
there on
if
the
he hits
verge of
150
hitting.
this year, then he'll be all
Let's
right.
just say this: he's gonna stay healthy because he doesn't run first on the ground ball, so he's never gonna pull a muscle.
He has never
So-
tried. He's
No,
never.
he's
He's
never
never made
tried at
anything
all.
look hard.
Ever.
He's never made anything look difficult.
So he will
One of the
easily
best
stay healthy.
defense, second defenders, man. He turned second double plays better than nobody. Nobody's turned double plays like him ever.
I hope Cano gets to 3,000. It'll make it easier for him to get into the Hall of Fame.
He will.
Oh, if he gets 3,000,
See
he's
that?
Hall of Fame.
I don't know because we used to say 500 home runs was easy Hall of Fame, but then you see guys like Gary Sheffield and you're like, why
Well,
is he in the Hall of
Sheffield's
Fame?
not in because he there's question about him using steroids with Bonds. That's why.
Yep.
It's not his stats. He's an automatic Hall of Famer.
Oh,
Sheffield.
no, he's not because he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Because he was with Barry Bonds. He worked out with Barry Bonds, and he admitted to using what Barry Bonds used, but he said he didn't know that it was illegal. So
Listen,
that's what.
Listen,
Listen,
David
they were
Ortiz was
talking-
on that too. So
Listen, they were talking about Joe Mauer being in the Hall of Fame. He just reached 2,000 hits. So why can't Cano be in the Hall of Fame if he's almost at 2,500?
It's the position, like you
His
said.
position, yeah. But Joe Mauer has also won an MVP. He's also won batting titles. Doesn't have the home run power like he used to. But the
he
guy
didn't
can
even
still-
have it back then. He
But
one
he-
year when he won
one
the
year
MVP,
they
he
had-
had like 29 or something.
But
like
where
that.
did it go? Like, where did it go? You're 6'4", my man. Where did it go?
Plus they look at average. Like Cano's batting 304 career.
That's Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
dude.
if you hit over 300
That's
a
Hall
lot
of
of
Fame.
times.
Let's look at how many.
Now,
people
here's a
have
question
hit over
Gabi
300
has.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Gabi's question: does Nelson Cruz reach 500? He's at 330
No.
right now.
No.
How old is
Three-
Cruz?
He's like 37.
How old is Nelson Cruz? I don't even know how old he is.
I'm guessing right now he's 37 years old.
He's too injury prone too, so I don't see him hitting 500. He'll
Nah,
be close.
How many does he have now?
330. He'll hit 30 this year. He'll be at 360. He'll
I think
30.
he'll get. Obviously, he's gonna get over 400.
He'll really have
He's
to
37.
stretch.
No,
like,
he's not gonna. He's not gonna.
he'll
He'll
really
get over
have to
400.
stretch.
Yeah.
He'd have to have a Barry Bonds end of career.
He'll have to have 2 seasons with 75.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I think.
He'll
I
easily
think.
get 400. I think.
I think
Four-
he's been
420.
too injury prone over his career, which has caused him not to have those type of numbers. But let's look at Cano, right? Talking about Cano, what is his best years, right? New York, his last few years in New York.
He had 39 home runs in 2016. They didn't make the playoffs. That's probably why I don't remember that.
2016. Yeah, he had a great year with
Yeah,
Seattle. That was his
yeah.
best year with Seattle.
He had a great year.
He has 300 home runs, right? So you can see Cano getting close to 400 home runs and 3,000 hits.
For a second baseman too, that's rare.
Yeah.
It is super rare.
That's
so.
rare.
2,400 hits.
And he's young. How old is he?
35.
He's 35. He's not young.
I mean,
Well, look at his average.
he's still
Again,
playing very.
Look,
he's still
just so
playing
you
very
guys see his average over the last couple of years, because we were saying, what is he average, right? So since he's been in Seattle, 187, 179, 195, 166. That probably comes out to about close to a 180, 175 hits per year.
Yeah,
Which is
he'll
what I
get
said.
it. He'll get it. I
He'll
don't have
get
any
it.
doubt. He'll play till he's.
Mark
41.
McGwire is not a Hall of Famer either, for the same reason as Sheffield. That's what John Merkel says.
Yeah.
I do think
Mark
Miguel
Cabrera
Cabrera is going to be the next one that has all these
Here's another
milestones
question.
pop up. The
Does
500.
Beltray retired or go for 500? He's at 463 right
He's
now.
going to get
No,
500.
he'll get it. He's
Yeah.
gonna still play.
He's
still
going
good
to
enough.
just
He's still good
imagine
enough.
Adrian Beltre, 3,000 hits, 500 home runs.
Yeah,
Like,
He's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's
It's
already
crazy.
a Hall of Famer, so it doesn't
he's
matter.
already there.
He's played 40 years. So,
It's crazy. But yeah, Miggy definitely get it. Cano, I feel will get it.
Yeah, Cano's average has gone down since he left the Yanks. He was batting through over 300 every year. And
Even
the
if-
last several years he's gone down.
Even if Miggy didn't get it, he'd still be a Hall of Famer.
just because of those years of dominance.
Yeah.
Triple
MVPs,
crown,
couple MVPs.
MVP, batting
And just a
titles,
triple crown.
World Series champion.
Insane. Triple
Yeah.
crown.
Yeah,
He's won the World Series twice. One with the
Once.
Marlins, one with the Tigers.
once. He lost.
I don't think
He
he
lost
won.
think
twice.
he won.
Tigers. Has
He-
the Tigers
he
won
won
one?
with the
No,
Tigers.
no,
with the Marlins.
He won with the Marlins his rookie year.
Are you sure they didn't?
He went to the World Series with the Tigers. That year they lost to the
They
Giants.
lost
Yeah.
the
Yeah, so
Tigers won a World Series not too long ago. Something like a long time ago
No,
now.
they were in the playoffs several
they
years.
were in the World Series in 2000.
They lost to the Cardinals, I think, when Pujols was on the team. They definitely
That was in
2006.
2006. Yeah, they lost to the
They lost to the
Cardinals.
Cardinals. I thought they won that year
Nope, they did not win.
when they had Magalio Ordonez.
So, I know, they had a good chance that year.
Verlander was a rookie.
They
Well,
had.
folks,
Uh,
we are coming
Verlander was
to
a
an
rookie.
end. Tom, is it?
wow.
Yep,
Thanks for staying
It's
up
that
late
time.
with us.
it's that time.
That's
Family
time.
chats, another week.
Late
Sorry
night.
for coming on late night.
Late night chats.
We'll come on next week. And one last question for Gabi. Will we see another pitcher win 300?
That's gonna be a hard one. Yeah, we are. Kershaw.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't
see.
know.
Scherzer.
Don't know. We will see. We'll keep those
Not
questions
200.
coming. We'll bring that up next week. We'll try to keep the conversations going. Merkel says, "Will Gianni or Molina ever
No.
will ever be able
No.
to have kids again?"
Busted nuts. No. You know, busted his nuts. No.
I was
think
pretty
it's
serious, man.
I think it's okay if he doesn't.
Pray
have
for
kids
that
anymore.
guy.
Yeah,
man.
pray
That
for
was
Gianni or
102.
Molina.
Man.
Dude had to have surgery.
And Gabi says again, Stanton's available.
Hey, make me an offer. We'll see what we can do.
I told you I tried to give you Acuna. You should have took that triple crown.
He tried to hit Acuna and Machado.
Acuna,
All right, let.
Acuna by himself over the next several years will be a keeper. All right, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks again for another week of Family Chats where sports brings the family together. We appreciate you guys being a part. Keep sharing the love. Tune in to YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Tune in to our Instagram page where there's a lot of fun interaction weekly. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. We'll catch you guys next week again where we'll talk NBA playoffs, MLB, maybe a little bit of hockey, maybe a little football.
We're talking hockey next week. We are.
But we'll bring it back. And thanks again. We're going to call it a night because we got to go to bed and get to work early in the morning. So have a fantastic week. Bless you guys. Appreciate the love. Have a fantastic week. Till next week.
Thank you.
See you.
YouTube, make sure if you guys watch through the whole video, make sure you guys give us a like and subscribe to the Family Chats channel for more content. we're gonna give you guys more and more content. We're in works with another podcast. They want to do some kind of collaboration. I said sure. We'll see. I mean, we got tons of stuff working, but make sure you guys give us some love. Thanks, and thanks for joining the family.
One rope in the chain, yeah. Light and propane, yeah. Douse in the flame, yeah. Bounce for some change, yeah. Gang can't be tamed, yeah. Ice in our veins.